GM guys, we are back with the Dollar Trade Show. And today with us, I have Nick as always, and today we have Maxime. What's up, Maxime? How you doing, man?
Yeah, doing good, and you guys?
Yeah, good.
Great. I love it. It's always a surprise to me how we are going to start it. Today we had a kind of a dark vibe, you know? It fits Monday. It's
Yeah,
not
I'm
it's
doing
not
it.
a grumpy Monday. Yeah, it's
I
not a
can't be
grumpy Monday
bothered on
from my
Monday
side.
today.
But yeah, it's a slow Monday. But dude, okay, you can see from the amounts of tabs that I have open here, there's a lot of things to talk about. Before I continue, just want to remember you guys, nothing that we say here is financial advice, some life advice you don't need to follow. But yeah, okay, let's get it started. This is from Benjamin Freeman. This is the best prediction market article I've ever read. They mention a lot of traders who you will be familiar with, including a lot of traders here, guys. The thing is, the New York Times, they just wrote this massive article on prediction markets. And they are talking, the face of the article is the Pred Trader guy who's been making these lives for months now. He used to be an accountant and he left his regular job to work only trading on prediction markets, and he's making bank here. So if you want to check out this article, go to Benjamin account. It's linked here, and I'm
Oh,
going to
that's
link here.
him.
Yes,
I was
yes,
like,
this is the Pred Trader,
mm,
and he mentioned the Gaten Douglas guy, Suvi Badger, IAB Vec, dude.
wait, so
Change, change it.
is Pred Trader like a polymarket guy or a Kalshi guy? Who?
No, that is the
He was
thing.
he was somebody,
That's
right?
that's the
He was
most
in one of the
interesting
teams.
thing. Yeah, I'm gonna touch on this right now.
Right.
So
Okay.
the article might be good, but what after the article was even better. So Kaushi CEO deleted the poly market subtest. So this is holds a poly market badge, and the Pred Trader guy, he holds a Kaushi badge. He trades on Kalshi. He does not trade on Polymarket. But the article says, welcome to the era of the Polymarket Sharp. But this is a Kalshi trader. And
Yeah.
then we see Tarek here making a living betting on prediction markets anyway. So he's just posting the article. But okay, where is the subline here? Where
Yeah.
is the subtitle? He
Oh,
deleted. Yeah, so guys, I'm gonna leave the arena
I
open for you.
I thought we were going for truth and transparency, not like omitting the truth, deleting the truth, changing the truth. Nah.
Yeah,
We
I,
don't
I
care.
just think that the brand Polymarket is much more established in the mind of everyone.
Possibly,
It's
yeah.
it's but okay. This is an American newspaper. Polymarket's not open in the US. So how can we say Polymarket has a bigger market share there?
We're not trading there. Don't send your lawyers over here. No, we're not breaking regulation. We're not. What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I preferred my version of what he did. I don't know if you can scroll down and see it. Can you scroll down?
Okay. Okay,
That's that. I thought that was better. That's what he should have
this
did. He should
I
have
think
did that.
so.
That would have
This
been
will
more
get
funny. That would have been like
this will get we
and it'd be
yes,
more in jest. But
I think so.
he
He, he,
decided
he,
to
he-
admit all of the truth.
that's different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's we are going to talk about it. It's all a matter of attention and the same. The same technique that he used here, deleting. We are going to see that Polymarket's doing something similar with their tweets. Okay, let's move forward before we go to that. So as we usually do, let's talk about some data before we start. And this is from Dash. And by the way, Dash is coming to the show. Shout outs to him. He's going to the show in 2 weeks. So the last 6 months have been insane for Kaushi. They 4xed their open interest up to $410 million, and it's continually trying to push for fresh highs. Sports open interest has risen from 25 to 50%, which means half of the money that's parked there in open positions are related to sports. Politics has held a steady 25%, and the remaining categories condensed into the final 25. So we've been seeing these changes of interesting people in different categories, but it's still sports dominate everything. So do you think sports will continue to dominate open interest within 6 months? And
Yeah.
my answer is clearly yes. So politics, especially elections, are great for onboarding new users, but we know sports what keep them around because they are cyclical, repeatable, and tie linked to entertainment. So it's easier to justify. You're playing it for friends, so let's bet on this game, on that. When you talk about the war, if someone's going to be arrested, that's not that fun. It may be profitable. And as I already highlighted here, we have 130 days to go before the FIFA World Cup. And I think we are going to see the huge spike in open interest by then. And what I'm curious now is what's going to happen after these events. New users, are they going to stick around? Are they going to move to different categories? Or is it going to be only sports?
I think so.
With you guys.
If we look at those data, I think if we look at the volume, it's even more. The ratio on, linked to sports betting is even higher than the open interest. And what's interesting is that's for Kalshi. In Kalshi, 90% I think of the volume is made, by sports, which is a different story for Polymarket, which is more a 30, and 30 for sports, politics, and other stuff, kind of. So I think this is something very specific to Kalshi. However, I think that for now, what we saw the most around prediction markets are sports, because this is one of the most tangible things that people can bet on. However, I don't know if you read the article from Messari, the paper on Polymarket, but something very interesting. So it's still very low, but it's growing very fast. It's the culture market, and everything around culture. So sports will dominate for now and will continue to dominate for a bit, but I think things like culture will really grow much faster, even if it will stay lower than sports for a while. So that's my take on this.
Yeah, we mentioned this here, and it's on the newsletter as well. Messari is actually believing that culture is going to be the area of prediction markets that is going to grow the most this year. I'm not sure, just because of the World Cup. I'm not sure.
I think it will be fastest growing. It might not be the fastest the highest volume. They're two different metrics, right? So culture markets for me is native prediction markets, right? It's not something you see in many other traditional betting, because we need to always remember there's already betting platforms out there. What are they doing? That's their market share that prediction markets are going into, right? So sports, I think, will always be for the foreseeable future, it will be the biggest, because it's a very natural thing everywhere in the world to bet on sports. Incredibly natural. Everybody understands it. So there's no education required. Cultural markets is a burgeoning new thing, right? We've not had anything like this before. And I think what could be it, I think culture markets will boom relative to another big event. So for example, if we have whenever the next presidential election is, in 3 years' time or something like that, I think we'll see a huge amount of culture markets opening up around all the candidates and all the subsections of the presidential elections. And I think that will trigger an explosion in culture markets and start making it hyper normalized. Because when we get to hyper normalized prediction markets, we can bet on anything we want, and that's normal in people's mind frame. And we're talking maybe a generation or half a generation, right? Next 15 years. Let's say the kids now who know about Polymarket and they're 14 years of age, by the time they're 25, this will be a very normal thing for them. So, but I think it will be a fast growing category. I don't think it'll attract the volume, right? I think it will still be very shallow, and we won't be looking at it. It doesn't provide any helpful information to understand the world we're in. It's purely speculative fun, like sports. But how many touches a ball somebody gets, what color of shoes or what color of laces are going to get, how many fights are going to be after the football match, how many arrests, that sort of stuff is going to be That's sort of like culture markets which are adjacent to sports, and you can see them growing up.
Yeah.
Kind of like the one the other day when the guy was like, somebody will run on the pitch, and then he dressed up and ran on the pitch, right? Like you can imagine like that happening more often until it becomes like illegal to do that, or you lose the money from doing that. Yeah, I think culture markets is going to be the base.
But yeah, so regarding that, I still think that events like the World Cup, so dude, it's the most watched sport events in the world. So it's going to onboard a lot of people, and especially for Brazil this year. We have the World Cup, and 3 months later we have the presidential elections. So I'm guessing a lot of people that are going to be onboarded through soccer and sports in general. They are going to stay around to trade the elections, and after that they will start trading something else. So yeah, it's still. Go ahead.
Who does anybody have a partnership with the Olympic Committee yet? Because I can imagine Kalshi and Polymarket are doubling down like
they are probably
on that, right? But
they
might not be allowed it because it's
I don't know,
and this is meant to be family shit.
They'll
find their way in. Somebody has to get that angle for this to work for prediction markets, because there's already loads of sports betting, and a lot of traditional betting companies already own that space. So that's a head-to-head fight with prediction markets. It's not like the Oscars. Nobody really gives a shit about the Oscars, but be damn sure that betting companies care about the fucking Olympics. They'll be making billions over the summer, and they don't want to be interrupted.
Yeah. So talking about partnerships, it means distribution, right? And we've been talking a lot about distribution through wallets. This other chart here, also from Dash, highlights that over 25 million in cumulative notional volume has been done on Phantom's prediction market. So remember, guys, through Phantom, people are trading Kalshi markets. It's kind of a tokenized version of Kalshi, which, I mean, since Kalshi is off-chain. So this has netted them over 130K in fees since integration. I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know if we have data to support this, but this is what they get from fees. But how much does it cost to keep this running? So that I think that number will be even better. So transactions seems to be hovering around 4,000 transactions daily, with users are around 100K. Additional, around 66% of daily users tends to be recurring ones. So most of people are coming back. I think they are the most successful prediction market offering inside a wallet thus far. But it's still, if we compare to the average number of users in prediction market, that's nothing. That's nothing. So that thesis of integration with wallets really increasing distribution it didn't pan out yet, at least.
No, it's brand new. It'll be a while. I mean,
how long?
How many people use wallets? Wallets aren't mainstream.
Yeah, at least for crypto users, right? Only. Go ahead, Maxime, please.
Have you been able to test this in Phantom? Or is it just me that I don't find it? Or is it because, I should try it with a VPN or something? But I haven't been able to try it. So
I've not seen it either. But you probably need a right? It's probably geo-locked to whatever cal.
Maybe, yeah.
You say, I bet it's geo-locked to the US, right? Like pretty much.
Maybe it is, and thanks to Nick, nowadays I only use Brave Wallet.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Nick.
You use Brave Wallet?
Can you believe
it? Brave Wallet.
But yeah, I still think, distribution through wallets are interesting. But I mean, the thing is, the discussion is really about, where wallets will go. Even if you look at the recent evolution of Forecaster, I don't know if you've seen all this thing around, Web3 social that in a week totally changed because,
they shut down. Suddenly everybody shut down, right?
Yeah, Lens is now with like Mask, but we don't really know what happened. Then Forecaster kind of reimbursed the investors and went with Nainer, which was a client. So that's very weird. But basically for SocialFi, I mean Web3 social, it's a bit dead. However, the discussion is still on about the future of wallet is not just to get to hold funds, but probably to do other stuff. So I think it's still very interesting to get prediction markets in a wallet and to being able to do a bunch of things. the only thing I'm seeing, and my only point of reference here is Jupiter with what they've done, with Kalshi. And for now,
Mhm.
I think we covered this last week or something, but the volume linked to, prediction market on Jupiter is very low, like very, very low. So that's,
Mhm.
for now, yeah, I think they're trying to test a few things, but yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
it's.
not
Yeah,
working
yeah,
for
yeah,
them. But I
yeah.
don't know if that shows. I don't know if that shows a broader weakness in Jupiter because they're trying to be everything. Like it could be just that you can't
They want to be a
when
super
you're
app.
in a niche,
Yeah.
you can't be everything. Like there's very few companies nowadays that can do everything in general. So yeah,
Yeah.
my general thesis, and this is recently new because wallets suck like for the most of it. Phantom is actually very good, and I think that it is just going to be a lot easier for people to access DeFi and other crypto native tools via the wallet than having to go to a site and continually connect. You just do it in the
Mhm.
wallet. It seems so much easier, particularly for DeFi
Yeah.
and prediction markets, things where you're just kind of like buying that's directly linked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I see
So
it.
something that's happening. We've been seeing. It's with the crypto cards. So there's just this report that came out about the use of stable coins, and we see the use of stable coins for payments for P2P is growing, but the use of cards is growing way faster because it's
Mhm.
something that people already know how to do. You don't need to onboard someone from on the other side. You just use your card. And I think the way for this situation is to become what Aave is kind of doing. It's become a financial app. It will be, you can call it neobank, super app, whatever you want. It's going to be an app. It's going to offer lending, borrowing, leverage trading, prediction markets, everything all at once. And I think the way for wallets is to migrate for that. I mean, eventually you will have a wallet in your browser, but it's something that it's going to be like a bank app on your phone. I think it seems that's the way to go because it's what people you don't need to go the extra mile to onboard people. It's already there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, moving forward, and this is interesting because for a couple of reasons. This is from Joe Weisenthal. He writes for the Bloomberg newsletter. A great prediction market if anyone were trading it. In today's newsletter, the potentially very useful snowfall contracts have virtually no volume, while nearly $1 million is on the line for the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks versus the Appalachian State Mountaineers basketball game. Something that we just mentioned here. I mean, there was $1 million in line for this basketball game, but no one was trading the snowfall that was hitting the US. And it was interesting because I saw a couple of people going outside in the streets in the middle of the snowstorm to measure how many inches of snow they would get, because that is the market that they were trading. And this is a useful market.
Can
And
you scroll
this,
down for a minute? Can you go back and scroll down?
sure. Yep.
Because yeah, Tarek commented on that one. This is not the main market. The main market is much bigger. The secondary market was just launched.
But and what I wanted to talk about here is this post here. So this is not a bad thing, and there was not a lot of volume here. So the importance of the info volume from the prediction market has almost nothing to do with the amount of volume traded. So information does not necessarily come from volume. This is the Adhi point here. It takes very little trading activity to produce cogent forecasts. After that, the primary value of the market is the info. If 7 weather nerds are dunking it out for 10K in winnings, what does it matter to the observer? You're still getting an amazing expert forecast for free. The skill of the average trader in the market is what matters, not how much. But my point here, it makes total sense. Okay, but how do you know you have experts? You can have only one person trading that market. Let's say two people trading that market. $100 there. You have the most skilled person trading that. How do you know? So we need people. We need volume of people here. And I wrote about it here. So let me show my content here. I wrote about it here. Why some prediction markets are more accurate than others. We are not sure. We don't know who's trading. So how do we get more information? Diversifying people. And on top of that, the sizing of their bettings. So as much as the size of the betting is more conviction that they have. So okay, he's correct. Volume not necessarily brings better information, but we need variety and we need sizing to make sure, or at least to evaluate, that we have better people trading there. Any opinion on that, guys?
Yeah, I think that what makes a market trustable is basically the one of the only way that you can give some trust to a market is probably because if you have enough people, because of wisdom of crowd. However, as you mentioned, we don't know if someone is experimented or not. Then the way to be sure is not to look at the person, but to look at the crowd. So I think that's one point. And again, I think that's something we discussed last week too. It was about like getting some standard to see, well, to know does this market can be manipulated. If we look at the liquidity, volume is a thing, but maybe open interest is even more interesting, etc., etc. So we need some of those data to as indicators of, oh, is it just an information, or will I rely on it to do something to invest or to do whatever else? Because depending on that, we would have this info. Can I trust this market? Is it easy to manipulate it? Is it how many people are on it, etc.? So that's more about getting the right parameters and information to see whether we can trust it or not. And this info today, we don't have that, and it's not normalized through all the prediction markets.
Yeah. So my take on this is that probabilistically, we should take more serious positions that are above the average of positions in a specific market. So if everybody's trading $10 and suddenly someone's trading $1,000, that should be taken more seriously. For each market, we should do that comparison. And it's always regarding open interest to think about conviction. Okay, moving forward here, this is from Noah. So basically what is talking about here is, so Kalshi files emergency motion to stay the Massachusetts preliminary injunction pending exhaustion of state level appeals. This is about regulation, as we've been talking, in the mess that it is in the US. So we have these state level regulations, and Kalshi has been the one taking this fight over. And the point from Noah here is that most of these injunctions initially by the states will only be successful at one thing: slowing down innovation. And this is something that we saw with DeFi companies a couple of years ago. I don't recall if you guys remember that Pull Together and Uniswap were targeted with lawsuits back in the day, 2 or 3 years ago, because they were trying to, I mean, the thesis was that DeFi was illegal. They didn't have, they were not allowed to offer that financial services and all. And it's something similar that what is happening right now with prediction markets state by state. And I agree with him. It's going to slow down, but it's not going to stop what's coming with prediction markets. Okay, now we are here for what is going on with the Polymarket, and Kalshi ways to promote. So just in, this was a post from Polymarket. Just in, Jeff Bezos advises aspiring Gen Z entrepreneurs to start at real-world jobs like McDonald's or Palantir before starting a business. And then we have here, we got some of the richest men in the world replying to Polymarket tweets. So if you're not bullish enough, you should see a specialist. But then Jeff Bezos said, no, you're not sure why Polymarket made this up. And then DC investor said, if the goal is to get views and clicks, I mean, whatever. But I've got to unfollow Polymarket account at this point. Not because I think the product is bad, but they put out way too much fake info and presented it as some sort of breaking news. That's it. So everybody's trying to manipulate something to call your attention or to make them look better.
It doesn't make sense for Polymarket to do shit like that when they're trying to talk about themselves as a truth player. It's fucking stupid.
They don't need to, right?
They don't, like, they've got loads of traction, loads of virality. and they're trying to establish themselves as a source of truth against the media industry, and they keep doing the same shit the media industry does for clickbait. It just doesn't make sense. It's this like it's inconsistent. And then you have also like the racist tweet a couple of months ago, and it's just like, what the fuck's going on in that growth team like that? Yes, I'm sure they're allowed their own autonomy, but you've got to have some parameters around the behavior and what you're allowed to do.
Yeah, and the content of this post itself has nothing to do with any market that is available in Polymarket. There's nothing to do with nothing. I mean, it's out of thin air. They're just inventing shit. But I mean, they got what they wanted. Jeff Bezos is posting, he is replying. We are talking about it. It just don't make sense. But I mean, it's the attention game, right? I'm not an expert on these guys, but so the thing is, be professional on your timeline and shit post on your replies. So don't shit post on your timeline.
I would argue that, some people could say, bad buzz is buzz in a way. I think the real issue here, I mean, everyone is doing this. The real issue, as you guys mentioned, is the positioning of Polymarket, saying, as a layer of truth, and then posting this. This is a real issue because, however, bad buzz is buzz, and look, we were talking about it. So in a way,
great. There's a point. So that's what people in the early beginning says. But once you start to erode trust, buzz is not good buzz anymore, right? And I think they're getting to the point where they're so big, so well distributed. And their messaging is, we are the truth layer. Look, we're on news sites. We're doing this. We're doing that. You can trust us. And then they have like intern posts for like just to generate likes and buzz, because basically, you know what they wanted to do. They wanted to get trending with Bezos, right? Did they really need to do that? I don't think they needed to. I don't think that's going to add users to their platform, and users are going to come because they trust them. Because you don't see like betting companies who do billions and billions of dollars in revenue a year doing that shit.
Yes, unless they think that their audience is not smart enough to understand this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wrong with the content. I think content's funny, but like maybe they need to have Polymarket jokes or something like that.
Could be, could be something like
away
that.
From the primary, because that is the flagship account. It's got to be kind of serious,
or at least or at least in the end. I mean, you can write this shit in the end. Put LOL. Okay, we know it's for fun. We know it for fun. That's it. So, but it was this screenshot was from 4 days ago, and by that time they have 4.5 million impressions. Only this post would be enough to monetize their account. That's it. But they are not the only ones playing the marketing game. So our marketing team has been having a lot of fun. They spend $1 million on the ad and $1 on the design. Download Cauchy. This is in Las Vegas. And someone, I don't recall where was that, someone just posted the reply. Mentioned, okay, this is the inspiration for that, which is really good. It's really funny. This one is funny. Okay, this is cool.
Yeah, I think
and it makes more sense for your comment on this one here.
That's why you should. I didn't see that post before I did that. I just did that because that's what I would have done if I was him. Yeah, but that all works. I didn't realize that
it's the same style.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay. It was handwritten with a pen on a machine. It was like
you're walking for Cauchy. You didn't tell us.
Basically.
See?
Like, Cauchy, where's the badge? And where's the pot of money? Where's the pot of money, guys? Services to pay for, rent, food, just general air in these days.
I can say here, you guys are using the same prompts to create your designs.
I didn't prompt that. I actually did that with my hand.
Dude, if you did with your hands and you're not prompting, you're doing that wrong. You're doing that wrong. It's 2026. We prompt stuff and we write articles on Twitter. That's it. So is this Polymarket using a Polymarket blockchain? Because once again, for this fighter here, he got into the arena with a Polymarket chain. It's not. My opinion is not. They are tired. I was talking with another guy about it. how apps are tied to the chains where they are. So the guy posted how much expensive is to play on Polygon right now. It's like, I mean, it's still a fraction of a cent, but it's 4 times more expensive nowadays than it used to be a year ago. And it's not necessarily demand. I mean, it can be anything happening on the chain. But after you have everything running on there, you are tied to those guys. I mean, it's a pain to move everything outside. It could be
It's not
Polygon
really.
or
If you stick
anywhere.
to the same style of chain, if it's an EVM, it will take a few days to migrate. It's
Oh,
not
fuck,
that hard.
man.
If you go
Yeah.
from them to
You're,
Solana, then
oh no, yeah, that
then
will be a
it's
nightmare.
it's a bit trickier, but it's also still possible, right? What I really want to know, which I don't give a fuck about the technology, is it the same chain that AJ had, or are they making multiple of these chains and handing them to
I don't
fighters?
know.
I want to know this. Is it
We'll
the same
never
chain?
know.
Is this guy
We will never
wearing
know.
like the guy who actually finally broke his Jaws chain? Like, because that, I feel like that's got magic around it at that point, because AJ said it right, set the score right at that situation, and did the damage he said he was going to do. So I think like the energy around that chain, if they keep handing that out to fighters, will be like, Shane needs to then start wearing it at boards meetings and intimidating everybody. You know who's wore this chain? That comes with me.
in the next call with potential investors, you know, he go to the call with the
Yeah.
chain. That's
Just with his
it.
top off. I know
Yeah.
he's skinny in that, but he
Yeah.
just walks into a huge chain. He's like, right, do you know who wore this chain? Do you know how many bodies are on this chain?
Do you know what I can do with this? Yes, that's it. So, and then this is an article from Sportico. So, Cauchy takes compliance PR tour amid prediction market backlash. And then it's basically talking about the insider trading. It's interesting because we saw this insider trade happening on Poly Market, but the article it touches base about Cauchy because Cauchy is the regulated one, and they are the ones going everywhere talking about. I mean, what differentiates them better than other places? Regulation, which they are saying that I mean, the main thing is they're promoting this. Okay, we protect our customers and our users better than other places, even
I'm
against
a bit
insider
confused by that
trading.
narrative. Can somebody explain this to me, right? So, in order to end up in court, you have to be doing the thing that's unregulated. You have to be doing the thing against regulation, right? Because they wouldn't
Mhm.
sue you unless you broke the law,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you're saying
That's
you're
it.
regulated, but you're being sued for not being regulated in every state that you're entering. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense how you can say you're regulated and still being sued for not being regulated.
I think the dispute here is try to understand which laws apply to what they are doing. I think that's the fight. That's not that there's no regulation. There is.
Right, okay.
But what kind of laws they have to comply with? Is the gamings? Is the regular market trading? I think that's the main thing, because prediction markets, as we've been telling, is in the middle. It's in between the sports betting and the derivatives markets. So I think that's the main problem here.
That makes sense.
Okay, moving forward. This is from Polyfactual. Let's write this down because I don't remember this one. So pretty under discussed. Okay, so this is how to protect yourself from being exit liquidity. We saw that happening with altcoins. We saw that happening with meme coins. And now we are, of course, going to see this happening with prediction markets. So a pretty under discussed tactic utilized within prediction markets is news channel reframing news quotes in a way to confuse the general public and benefit from temporary market odds mispricing due to said information. Every other financial market sector reacts to news and headlines, but prediction markets don't just react. They are quite literally resolved by it. This makes it very susceptible to misinformation by people with large enough channels of distribution and traders who take the information as a signal to place a trade, which leaves them as exit liquidity. As a new or active prediction market trader, this is definitely an area to watch carefully for and prioritize reading between the lines. That's it, guys. So that famous trader that you've been following, And we've seen some discussions about that. There was this guy saying that he made a shit ton of money with 12 trades, and then a lot of people start saying, "No, bro, it's not the case." I mean, the guy had like dozen accounts, and he was
farm.
Yes, that's it. So it's good. I mean, it's not the kind of content we see a lot, and we should see this kind of more often, But this is not sexy. It's not telling you how to make money. It's telling you, hey, how to protect yourself.
I mean, it's the same story, as always, when we had meme coins, as you mentioned, that the same people will try to sell you a unique edge that they have, but they only sell you, the idea of you having an edge. Because the thing is, if they really had this edge, they would not have been, posting on X. They should be, trading, using these, maybe raising a fund or something. So that's always the thing. Same thing with people, selling, specific club, or teaching you stuff, or those kind of things. If this person is really good, he will not be doing that. He will do his job, well paid, or raising a fund or something. So
perfect, you nailed it. That's it. I mean, if people are out there sharing their trading strategy, it's because that doesn't work. Okay, I doubled this one. Okay, Greek Gambler, prediction market. Now we get to a point that something that we've been discussing multiple times here in the show. So what I hate the most about Polymarket is the Oracle system. And it's great to have this kind of content from someone wearing the Polymarket badge. Not everything's perfect. So I trade mention markets on Polymarket for over a year, and I'm not allowed to propose any mention markets. Basically, only a really small amount of users who have whitelisted address can propose. How to get whitelisted? You have to propose 5 markets or more from the non-whitelisted ones, which are usually illiquid random markets that are hard to even find, or you are clueless on what to propose. It feels like totally bullshit that only a few people control market proposals, which is often used as a tool to manipulate markets. And then he posts this from Yuma. Yuma eats the resolver as well. Not exactly the resolver, but the Oracle when there's a dispute. So here I had to wait hours, and in some cases you may have to wait days to get something to resolve. I mean, we've seen these complaints about Yuma as well in the past. And then we have this from Gem Changer, which we've been following closely. So millions were made on Yuma resolution. Some wallets made fortunes when dispute hit Polymarket. Others lost everything on the same trades. For instance, the on-chain data paints a different picture. We tracked Yuma participants, mapped their activity, and visualized who walked away rich when resolutions got messy. The patterns are interesting. And then he links this article here, exposing Yuma voters with an informational edge. And you guys will have the link for this article and for this post here on tomorrow's newsletter as well. It's not what is his name? It's Cryptoslav, who has been complaining about Yuma for months now as well. One of the top traders on Polymarket, and he left Polymarket. He's not trading there anymore. Complaining about this. Okay. Oh, this was interesting. So this guy here, ex-CPO, I don't know what a CPO does, but he's been investing and he's been partying of huge companies. Product. Okay. Product offer. So prediction markets will be 100x the size of sportsbooks. Sportsbooks are a poor proxy because they kept their total addressable market by banning their whales. Prediction markets act in the exact opposite way, scaling with the success of their top customers, both in bet size and frequency. The better the player, the more valuable. And in comes to the party quant shops that specialize in financialization. Susquehanna already has 60 traders on their sports decks. That's how Polymarket became a $100 billion company, which something that you've been mentioning a lot here, Nick, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like, the mechanics of sportsbooks are fundamentally different from prediction markets. Like, there's a lot of money that moves around in the background around odds setting, and there's a lot of incumbent characters and syndicates and stuff like that play. So I don't think it will be an easy road forward, and I don't know how yet Polymarket becomes $100 billion company, right? Because at some point they've got to tie it to revenue, and sportsbooks are going to, unless you run the whole world for prediction markets, sportsbooks are incredibly profitable, and prediction markets aren't, right? Because they're only taking a percentage of that, whereas sports books are doing other things around that. They're the house, and because of the house, they make more money.
They always have an edge.
Yeah, they've always got the edge. They always make the thing that everybody's interested in: revenue, profitability, and revenue. So I'm interested to see how that shapes up. Like, I have no idea how that pans out over the next few years, next 10 years. You know, like,
I think,
how's that? Did the sports books just become prediction markets, and then but like for them that must be very difficult because they're not going to make the revenue and the profits that they did as being a sports book operator, or do they just go, fuck it, we're going to be a sports book, operate the same way we are, and just live until like it dies, because there's no point in giving away that money for free by changing into a protocol.
I think part of the thesis that a lot of people are believing in, and this was highlighted on the last chat we have with Phil from Dune about the report. The report says that they are kind of spotting a change in trending to start to see institutional money coming to prediction markets and using markets as hedges. Some other people have been mentioning as well the use of prediction markets as a marketing leverage for the launch of products and this kind of stuff. So if we think about it, we can kind of guess that potentially bigger money it's coming. The same way that we see the flows in crypto with the ETFs and the institutional players. I think that will be the case. I mean, the new use of prediction markets as actually a financial tool, you know, not only entertainment, not only kind of betting.
Yeah.
As we've been talking, the insurance and other stuff. Yeah, Maxime, please.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that, you know, the general level of people being profitable will be higher, you know, with prediction markets than with sportsbook, for a very simple reason that you explain, is that on one you play against the house, and on the other end, for the other one, you play against other players. So I think for this reason we will have much more, you know, capital flowing in. Plus, what you mentioned is that it's much broader than just sports, and so for, again, we could have sports, of course, but we can have, as you mentioned, specific financial institutional people coming, not today because we have some issues to fix first, but that could be possible. So I think this will go there. We'll have like bigger volume, and I think it's opinion market. If I'm correct, they already have fees, and it's about like 0.1%, like 0.1 or something like this. Should be verified, but if I'm correct, I think it's that. So most of them don't have fees, but it will come at some point. And then it's the same business as perps, just take on the volume and that's it.
We so far, at least on Polymarket, we have fees only for the really the short crypto markets, the 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, 15-minute markets. I think one issue we actually have as an industry is we need to stop fucking comparing it to sportsbooks, right? Like this is actually like a barrier to having open conversations about it. But the problem is they make all of their volumes, the biggest chunk of their volume on all of the prediction markets is sports. So it's difficult to pull them apart when it looks like sports betting, acts like sports betting, but isn't sports betting, because nobody else who bets on sports understands what's happening after they press buy one side or the other. You know what I mean? So I think like it could be more helpful for prediction markets and the industry in general just to stop talking about sports books.
Yeah.
But right? When somebody brings up, there's lots of volumes, but that's not what we're doing. But like we're going down this road or that road, or there's other derivatives here that you're not understanding. This is a higher class of market. This is not even higher class of market is actually a good way to say it. It's just like it is what it is. But every time we get dragged into this is sports betting.
Sports.
And you're like, well, then that puts us in competition with an age-old industry who are have a lot of money and a lot of intelligence, right? Who wants to fight that? Who wants to fight an industry that's got lots of guns and lots of smart people in it? Nobody wants to fight that.
And I think it's the Polymarket play. That's kind of what we're doing more than Kalshi, and you can see it on the volume today, the sports volume on Kalshi versus the sports volume on Polymarket. So I think Polymarket is going in the direction you're mentioning.
Yeah, and that's probably why Kalshi they're wanting to wage the war in the courts to be able to own sports markets in the US. I think that's really what it is, because I think I've said this before, I'm sure, like the US market is a totally unopened market when it comes to betting. And if you can get that up to a federal level, the amount of money that will pour out of that country into companies will be huge, because the humans in the US are the same as the humans all over the world. They like betting and predicting and making money and having fun betting. They're not any different. They're the same as everybody else. It's just their regulation like keeps that low. And also, like, you piss off a lot of criminals, I imagine, in these regions by opening up sports betting. So I guarantee there's criminal money stopping that from moving up to a federal level.
So talking about criminals, and since we've mentioned how insider trading is a crime, so insider plays officially going parabolic. Rick Reader odds just hit a massive 58%. So this wallet is now sitting on a 70,000 profit and loss from that original 1,500 bets. So that's a staging 46x return of investment. If you had set up the copy trade with Polygon when I posted this yesterday at 34%, you would already been up 2x in a single day. Is the official announcement imminent? The charts and the whale conviction say yes. So will Trump nominate Rich Reader as the next Fed chair? Yes. I mean, we don't know how much of this is pure conviction or insider information. I'm talking about the insider information and moving to the last minutes of the shows here. Shout out to Adhi. We mentioned here, he wrote an article about Inside Job, and he highlights how insider trading is good, or at least has some benefits for prediction markets. And one of the topics that he highlights, and I did the same here in this article, is that we cannot treat how insider trading is considered. I mean, the same idea that justifies the prohibition of insider trading for traditional markets cannot be just transferred to prediction markets, because the end goal with traditional markets, which is allocating capital efficiently, and with prediction markets are not the same. So here on prediction markets, we want to know the truth, and as many information, the better. I will share links for these posts and these articles as well. Moving forward here, this is from Kalshi Research, which is pretty interesting. So what can campaigns learn from prediction markets? Using Zohan Mandami victory in New York City mayoral race, we find information that most affects election outcomes according to traders. Behavioral data, polling, media endorsements, politician endorsements. And there's a link here for the full paper. I'm going to go a little bit faster here, guys. Interrupt me if you have anything to comment on these articles, because we have a lot of things here. And so once again, all the links to the articles are going to be in tomorrow's newsletter. How AI judges can scale prediction markets. The case for locking LLMs into the blockchain to resolve. This is a really interesting one from A16Z Crypto. We can dive further on this. We are organizing a show especially dedicated to AI agents in prediction markets. We can come back to this one. I think bookmark this again.
Yeah, quite like this one. I think that's going to be, there's going to be definitely levels of that. It may end up with humans in the end, but it's definitely sifting through the bullshit.
Yeah. And this one was interesting. So I'm going to send a message to these guys here to see if they want to come to the show. So benchmarking Grok's accuracy in resolving prediction markets. Basically, they used Grok to understand and trade markets, and the outcome was good, was really accurate. How Grok was understanding the markets, and the resolution was according to what Grok suggested. So single row, they have these two. Batch resolution was not as efficient, but single row resolution, they say here, while a little slower, single row resolution achieved an accuracy of 100%, which is amazing. This shows the true power of Grok due to its access to the latest data on X. Yeah.
Nice. That's
We
good.
come back to this. Yeah, it's cool. It's amazing. And from Predictify, we remember last week we talked about this, how to make 10K a month trading in efficient markets. That was a banger post. They got tens of thousands of impressions, and now of course they came back. How to make 20K a month. Right? And of course, people, to be honest, I didn't read this one. I just assumed that it's something really similar to what they're doing, but I'm going to share the link of this one in the newsletter as well. And they got a lot of attention from this as well. So this is something that we were mentioned here before the show. I mean, we don't tell you how to make money on this, but yeah, there's definitely people out there showing how to make money. I mean, we are more in the not that speculation part. But anyway, so this is Flowframe. Flowframe has a newsletter as well for prediction market. It doesn't post really often, but usually the content's really good when they post. And he's talking about why Greenland acquisition is overpriced at 23%. So maybe the chance to buy no. I don't know. Anyway, and just shout out to Polysides here. This is from Justin, and Justin will be with us in the show in a couple of weeks as well. And just saying, guys, we need a new intern to work with me. Please apply. So Polysides is hiring. Last week we show you guys, Kaushi was hiring a designer. Polysides has some open positions as well.
Do you get a free gym membership, and does he like take you to the gym and shit like that and like get you ripped?
I will like that. I will like that because
like,
he's
I will
he's
be
always
your personal coach at the gym. We get big. We drink the shakes. We get lean and big.
He's always flexing his videos and photos at the gym. The guy's jacked, man. Yeah, he's strong.
He's always got his tits out. I'm surprised he's not been banned on X yet.
So that's it, guys. So once again, don't forget to follow us on the Dollar Trade. If you are around, make sure to follow us on Dollar Trade and subscribe to the newsletter on dollartrade.xyz. The newsletter goes out the day after the live. So tomorrow we have a newsletter. On Friday we have a newsletter. And on Saturday, I post just a roundup of everything that happened in the week. Some stuff that we don't mention here in the show, just quick links so you can go through. Guys, thanks a lot. Maxime, dude, you're a friend here. You're always welcome to come back to the show. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's always very good. You guys have, for me, one of the best media around prediction markets. I read it a lot. I recommend everyone to subscribe to your newsletter and on X account. So yeah, like what you guys are doing. So always a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, man.
Amazing.
Well,
it's always
I
great
love
to have
it when
you
we
here.
hang out. We can shoot the shit properly. We can say what we like. The Maxime's like yes or no. And
that's it,
for
guys.
people who don't know, there might be a musical duo coming up in the future between Maxime and Nick.
You're working on that.
I'm not promising it's good, but I might be promising it.
Let's do a prediction market on it. Will it be good?
Yeah.
It's more like opinion market though.
It is an opinion market. Was he and Key, were they on time? I don't know.
Okay, guys.